Are we live? Yes, we're live. So, hello and welcome to episode 33 of Talkin Tech, the weekly podcast by MobileTechTalk. No Dom tonight. He was a bit busy and seems like his life is more of a soap opera.
Yes, I kind of commented. Yes, well, without kind of giving details away, because we don't know what he'd be fine with us saying. But yes, he has. He has the family drama.
Seems to have a family drama.
Well,
most weeks.
Italian.
So you've got me as usual. So I am your humble host, and we have the fabulous Mark, who's, to my knowledge, never missed an episode.
Oh God, no! I've missed several.
I think you've missed one for illness, and then we swapped you out on a.
Yeah. I mean, but no, I have missed several at various points, but usually it's planned.
Yes, we don't get people normally say, "Oh, I can't come." We plan to swap to bring Kurt in every now and again. So scratch that. The name for this one is the S7 Active is fixed. Finally, which we'll tap into near the end. I think I put it near the end. Yeah, I put it near the end. So it's pretty much been a quiet week this week. I think it's quite fair to say. I don't think you've seen anything big at all.
No. Well, apart from today, of course, which we don't have kind of in the show notes, although we probably should have added in. Verizon has bought Yahoo.
Oh, I did quickly see that, but I was kind of rushing to get out to a biker's night at a cafe.
Yeah, although to be fair, the only kind of article I read on it, which was titled "The Saddest Takeover in Tech History," just because I kind of essentially the theme of the article was that this was Yahoo, right? Once upon a time, Yahoo was like gigantic. I mean, it was like Google or Facebook today. Yahoo. Back in the early days of the first tech bubble, Yahoo was massive. I mean, huge.
Yeah.
We're talking like 90s money, and at one point Yahoo was $125 billion market cap.
I'll put it this way: Yahoo was my first email provider.
Yeah. I think I've still got a Yahoo.
I don't have my original Yahoo account, but I do have a Yahoo account for Flickr. If anyone doesn't know what Flickr is, it's basically
shitty photos.
But it has brilliant integration for us to use with WordPress, which is what the site is hosted on. You just put in what did I say the website was again?
Flickr.
Flickr, that's the one. You Flickr, some couple of characters, set ID or something. Basically, the folder ID, and it just picks it up there and then. It's super simple and means we don't host so much. It saves a little bit on money as well.
Yeah, but to be fair, that was something Yahoo bought recently. So not something that I would really kind of think of as core Yahoo. I mean, Yahoo used to be back in the day. Essentially, before Google, Yahoo curated vast amounts of the internet. So instead of just searching for things, you could just simply go into topics and you would find things that way, in kind of the way that you might traditionally be used to looking for things, say, in an encyclopedia or in a library. But yeah, so back in the early, late-ish 90s, Yahoo was worth $125 billion, right? I mean, that is serious, massive amounts of money, and Verizon has basically just bought them for like $5 billion.
Oh yes, so they've not. It's not petty cash. Don't think for a minute.
That's not quite petty cash, but when you consider that what Yahoo once was, I mean, it used to be 125 billion, and that was money from a long time ago when that was actually like a lot of money.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden it's
If I'll task Mark with the job of finding that article for us to throw in the show notes.
Oh, right.
And whilst he's doing that, I'll quickly cover, when I can find the right tab, the first, well, second now, because we've already talked about one top piece of news, and that is Action Launcher 3. If you've not heard of Action Launcher, it is the launcher from Chris Lacey.
Oh, just good God, can I just, from my searching, I thought, search Verizon, Yahoo, sad. And I thought maybe it's only going to be that one article I read that's going to have labeled it, sad. Oh, no.
A lot.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, there's one. Sad Yahoo sale confirms that Marissa Mayer failed. Sad day for Yahoo. US 4.83 billion Verizon deal. Disappointing, former executives say. Yeah. Oh, basically, yeah. It is kind of sad. Poor Yahoo.
Yeah. So, Action Launch 3, the launcher by Chris Lacey, who, if you don't know Chris Lacey, is an Australian app developer. I think he does his own podcast. I can't remember what it's called. Probably The Blurg or something. And he's just put an update out to the app Action Launcher 3, which brings Google Now integration. But there's one caveat. It requires root, which is, I know for some people, they would like the Google Now integration, but they don't want to root their phones, don't trust themselves rooting their phones, which, if you say by people that don't trust themselves to root phones, I'm pretty much one of them.
Yeah, well, depending on your device, there are actually a great number of devices that essentially there are well-known exploits. So you can simply install something like, not that I'm picking one as a favorite, just one that I've used in the past, King Root. You install that, you go boom, unroot my device, and it'll scan things. And it'll either come back and go, nope, sorry, can't do it. Or it goes, yay, you're rooted and done.
I did remember seeing one. There was an app that you could download. I think it was that app, but there was an app at one point that you could download and would do all the legwork for you.
Yeah. There are several of them. King Root is just one that I have used, and it has a nice, easy to remember name.
Yeah, so does anybody remember Nokia?
I think everybody probably remembers them.
Does anybody remember Nokia making Android smartphones?
I think everybody probably listening to this will remember that Nokia did make an Android smartphone.
Sort of Android smartphone, but it allowed you to sideload APKs on.
Which, although it wasn't really a product that anyone actually bought, it was Microsoft, you had better buy us or else.
It was actually, I remember, I can't remember what the correct names it was. It was a Nokia.
Crap, nobody buy it.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't think it was that good hardware-wise, but
no, they were bottom end. It was essentially a shot across the bow to Microsoft to say, if you don't buy us, we're going to start making Android phones.
Which, from what we're reportedly seeing, is the case. So this article comes from Android Authority, and Nokia are apparently reportedly going to release 2 premium Android smartphones that will run Android N or Nougat or Nougat or
Nutella,
whatever you call her. Nutella.
Yeah, call it Nutella. Screw you, Google.
I've not had too much time to look around, but I've not seen a mock-up diagram of it, which is normally you tend to see when these first get teased, is to use our words I use. You normally see a couple of renders. I've not seen any.
Which is kind of, it's slightly worrying. And the difference being this time that when Nokia's making the phone. Nokia no longer owns factories and actually would be designing and making the phone. They essentially would be going to Foxconn and saying, make something and stick our name on it, please.
Yes.
Which, you know, I'm fine with, because, you know, it's basically like what Apple does. So, you know, it's not like it can't be good hardware. But the fact that there are no renders, to me, this
kind of
says,
disappointing.
well, to me, it's not so much disappointing, but it says, is Nokia actually doing this? Or is this people just really, really wanting Nokia to do this and working themselves up into a frenzy?
I'm probably going to say the second one.
Yeah, because, you know, that happens a lot in the tech world. It's like every couple of years, well, they've kind of stopped doing it now, but every year there used to be there's going to be a Sony Nexus, because people wanted one. They really, really desperately wanted one. So there were rumors. Never came to anything.
No, and that's just proves the point with rumors. You take it as a grain of salt. You don't take it literally as if this is the thing, this is going to happen. You take it with a pinch of salt, because 9 times out of, well, not 9 times out of 10, but there's a high possibility that it's not going to, if it does come, it's not going to be what you expect. And I think there's been a couple of phones I've seen people get really annoyed that they had great expectations for them, and they've come out and they've just flopped.
Yeah, sometimes ideas work a bit better than the actual reality.
Yeah.
But, you know, I still think that, you know, if this isn't true yet, it needs to be true, because I think not so much maybe in the US, and maybe not so much in various places, and, you know, to a limited extent across Western Europe, but the Nokia name is still very, very recognizable, especially in India. You know, in the same way that here we call, you know, a vacuum cleaner a Hoover. You know, nobody actually buys them made by Hoover anymore, but still, you know, you call that thing a Hoover, and everyone knows what you mean. In India, slang for a mobile phone is a Nokia.
And that's because Nokias were known for being relatively cheap and really good quality.
Yeah, and they were ubiquitous. It's what everybody had. You know, the reason that you called them a Nokia was because if you had a phone, you know, it was a Nokia. So, you know, if nothing else, I mean, moving into a market like India, Nokia really does need to be producing a handset of some sort and slapping their name on it, because that name is still worth a fortune.
Yes. Nokia is known, and whilst they've got the Nokia name, they should be using it.
Yeah, and if they don't, then their shareholders need to fire their board. Although, in fairness, their shareholders needed to fire their board about 15 years ago. But, well, yeah, no.
Yeah, so hope if we see any renders, it'll be something we'll definitely come back and cover. So still kind of linked to Android. I could have done that a bit better, but I'll say bye-bye to your Chrome app launcher. Now, if you're getting slightly confused and thinking, what the hell is he on about? If you have Chrome and you install an app, you'll always get, in where your traditional start menu is on Windows, you'll always get this little white, grey, it's a whitey grey, could never quite tell the difference, little box. And it'd pop up and it would have all your little web apps in there for you. And it's not really being utilized. Honestly, a lot of people like to just open Chrome and have their homepage set to the page which has all the web apps anyway. So Google have done some digging, and they are removing it from, I believe it's Windows, Linux, and Mac. Them three only. If you've got a Chromebook, you're going to keep it. And that, I believe this is partly down to the fact of the way the Chromebook works. You'd be stupid to take it out.
Yeah.
So they're removing it in the latest version. I can't remember if it's I think it's Chrome 52.
Yeah, I mean, basically, all it ever was basically a shortcut.
Yeah, a shortcut to another
a bookmark.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
Yeah, so I never used it.
no,
I don't know
neither did
about
I.
you.
Although I'm pretty sure it's not on this. No, it is. I do actually have that shortcut on this computer, the Chrome app launcher. I don't think I've ever clicked it, but it must have been at some point when I either installed Chrome, it plunked itself there, and I didn't care enough to remove it.
I don't have it on mine. I'm not. No, I don't have it at all. Oh, don't have it. Doesn't bother me because I never used it anyway.
Yeah, no, I've never used it. If it goes away, I will not care. I
don't think people will notice it going away, to be honest.
Nah, neither do I.
I think it's just going to fizzle. Is that a word? Is that a correct word to use? Phase out. Fizzle. That's the word I'm looking for. Slowly, it's going to just.
It'll just I think it'll. Although, is it actively going to remove the shortcut from people's desktops?
I'm not sure.
I would suspect not.
I suspect. I don't. They could do it. I don't know. I've not seen it. It hasn't been mentioned.
Yeah, I don't think it will remove it if it's already there.
Yeah, I think they might. Just they're not going to install it.
It won't generate
installs
anymore.
But
yeah, basically, nobody's going to notice. Nobody cares.
No.
Why is this a story?
Yeah, I know. That's what I read it. No, I'll admit, I saw the title. I opened it. I read it. And I was like, oh,
that's what it means.
That's what it is. Because I looked at it and went, Chrome app launcher. Where the hell's the Chrome app launcher? But no. So if you used it, let us know. But yeah, actually quite interesting to see who did use it. But whilst we're on the subject of Android and Chrome, people should remember Android Auto, the entertainment system for your car, which you just plugged your phone into and had not all your apps, but certain, what's the looking for? Developer. If the developers had developed for it, you could then get your apps and control everything in the head unit. Kia have announced that it is coming in 8 new cars. So they are the Forte, Optima Hybrid, Sedona, the Kia Soul, the Soul EV, Sportage, and Sorento. I think these are Spanish names, judging by the way I'm butchering them. I've never used Android Auto. I've never been in a car with Android Auto.
No. So this is kind of interesting in a couple of ways. Now, first of all, Kia is not a huge, big seller in the UK. And I suspect it's probably not a huge, great big seller in the US either.
I think they sell a fair few in the US, but they're certainly no
General Motors. They're not Ford.
Yeah, they're not General Motors, your Fords, your Chevrolets, your Dodges.
Yeah. I mean, they exist. I'm sure they sell, a reasonable number, but they are not what I think of as, like big, like if Ford said it was putting into all their new cars, that becomes a big deal. So Kia, I don't know, are they huge in Korea maybe?
Possibly Korea, yes. I'm not, like I said, I know of Kia and I know they're moderately big, but they're not huge.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think as companies go, they do a lot of things, so they are, quite a sizable company. But in terms of cars, certainly from the UK, they tend to be high value, shall we say. They're cheaper cars, right? They don't make expensive shit.
No.
So it's kind of nice to see that Android Auto is going into cars.
It has been going into BMWs and Mercedes and all your high-end cars.
Yeah, I mean, this is much more mainstream-ish. But, it's not going in at kind of sort of the alternate. It's going in at the bottom end, which I don't know how this will play out. Like, I expect Mercedes and BMW to kind of be like on the ball about upgrades and whatnot.
I'm not sure how it's going to work. I'm not sure.
But you know, there's a difference in expectation. If you buy,
Yes.
£100,000, whatever Mercedes, blah blah blah, with AMG written at the end, you have a certain level of expectation.
In your everyday Kia, your little family car, you don't have the same expectation.
No, exactly. So I think this is going to be a time will tell. This could be really good.
I think that's the case with all Android Auto stories, and very similar with CarPlay as well. It's not so much you can tell; it's a time will tell.
Mm.
Obviously, in the UK, we don't tend to get cars that have. You get cars that have inbuilt navigation systems and all this Android Auto, like stuff that's similar to Android Auto, but is what's the word? Manufacturers.
Yeah.
Stuff. We're in the UK. We're not big in that. We're more. Here's your stereo. Here's your FM radio with a CD player, aux cord, and a bit of Bluetooth. So we're not like America, where they have all the car entertainment systems with like touch screens, maps.
You think?
Yeah, I'd see more people and talk to more people that have just standard CD players with an aux cord.
Are these young people?
No, some old, some young, some middle-aged.
I don't know. I mean, from my own experience, I would say that quite a lot of people have, inbuilt proprietary systems. The normal, the sat nav, the touchscreen crap. The only real difference between sort of Europe and the US is the US has things such as OnStar, which basically doesn't exist here.
There is a couple of cars in the UK that do use OnStar. I mean, there's a couple of Vauxhalls, and I want to say a couple of Peugeots as well. But it's not big.
I can't say I've ever seen it. I mean, likewise, the number of cars sold in the UK that have, essentially like their own SIM cards and whatnot.
That's coming up. It's coming up, but a lot of people.
No, they've been trying it for years. Lots of automated. Oh, you have an accident, and it'll, alert the police and the ambulance that you've had a crash. All that kind of stuff. People don't stick a SIM card in their car. They don't. They use their phone.
The way a lot of the people I speak to do it is just take a standard aux cord or an auxiliary cord or whatever you call it. It's basically the double-ended 3.5 mil jack. That's how a lot of people like to deal with it, just because there's no faffing around. It's just plug and play. And
also there's little radio ones.
Yes. I know this was very popular with the iPods. You'd have a little module, very big, click it into the bottom of your iPod. You'd find a station, you'd find a frequency that wasn't in use in your area, and you would basically set it on your little adapter. So let's say 104.5, and then you would go to your car stereo and you would tune your radio to 104.5. That way it would work. Not the best in quality though. Terribly flaky. But because you were in the car and the area was on the roof, it didn't have very far to travel, which was what made it quite a viable option for many.
Yeah. So certainly usable in a way that is not sort of.
It's not a bank breaker. That's not the word.
No, it's kind of cheap and easy. It relatively works.
I think they were about 10-15 quid.
Yeah.
Compared to a stereo and an aux cord, so it was just so much simpler.
Yeah, I mean the tech in cars has never really kind of been pushing the envelope, as it were. But I think also a different aspect of that is, in America, they don't have things called corners. So their cars, you can basically, think of them not so much as cars as land yachts that simply kind of go along in a straight line. So
the occasional slight curve in the road.
Yeah. So you can kind of get away, I think, with probably having like more entertainment systems thrown at people, whereas I think people a lot more in the UK, you need to pay a little bit more attention because the road is not going to be ruler straight.
No, get on the bike.
Also, people here use manual controls. That they're not going to be trying to watch a film whilst they're driving the car.
Yes, we're not all lazy. We're not all lazy. Whereas most of America has an automatic gearbox. If you were to do I'd say roughly there's more manual cars in the UK.
Yeah, very much.
Than automatics. I personally ride a manual bike, and hell yes, it's better than an automatic. Just having the gearbox at your control versus what a machine thinks it wants.
Yeah,
is a lot more friendly when you're trying to filter through the centre at town at 8:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Just get them revs up a little so people know where you are. So the next one is the Superbook, and it does have an incredibly stupid name, I will admit. But basically, all it simply does is it's a stupid laptop that just has battery, keyboard, mouse, basic input, and a screen, and it harnesses the power from your phone, displays it on the laptop as if you were sitting at a computer and using a computer. But this only costs $99, which, give or take, is probably about 90-ish, probably a little bit less quid.
Yeah, it's rather less.
99 USD is £75. So how this works is remarkably simple, and for me it's a little too simple. You basically take this laptop, plug your phone in, I believe you have to open an app, and that's it. So everything is there, all your emails, Facebook, Twitter, games. And the thing I like about this, there's a couple of things I like about this, is A, it allows you to use your data. You don't have to have Wi-Fi. And B, it can charge your phone at the same time.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty good, considering you're sucking the power out of the phone to do all the tasks, but it's still putting the charge back in. They say it's 8 hours runtime, but you can, obviously the laptop has its own inbuilt battery, so I'd imagine you can just plug it in like a standard laptop, charge the laptop and your phone at the same time.
I would assume so.
I would assume so. This is on, of course, it's on Kickstarter.
Yeah, although it has been funded, and it got funded pretty sharpish. I mean, this looks like a good idea. It does.
It's like if anybody remembers, we spoke a while back about something similar, that it was using Continuum. This is basically the same concept, the same thing, but it's a concept. It's not a concept. It's, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a product that was built off a concept, and I think there maybe I think I was speaking to a couple of people and they said it could be some issues with how apps developed, but
yeah, I mean this
is the same with Continuum.
Well, I was thinking less Continuum. The one it more reminded me of was, do you remember way back, Motorola did a phone, and they did a laptop type dock thing that was essentially the same as this. It was a dumb laptop. It was basically a screen, a battery, and a keyboard. You plugged in your phone, and your phone did all the processing. And it was a tremendous flop, largely because I think at the time Motorola was selling it for like $400, $500 or some ridiculous price. So this, although also is slightly different in the fact that it's not limited to just one phone, you just plug it in with a cable. So in theory, if you go and have a look at the Andromium OS spec app, they require, or their recommended device specifications are 2 gigs of RAM, Snapdragon 800 or better, and this is one I found curious, a 1080p external monitor.
Right.
Because their little laptop that they're making does not come with a 1080p screen.
No. This little laptop, I've just scrolled down, and the cool thing I like about this is it requires Android 5.0 or higher, which is very, very nice considering how long it's taken manufacturers to get devices to marshmallow.
Yeah.
At least they can get back to Lollipop. Dual core processor, 1.5 gigs of RAM, Type-C or micro USB, and that's something else I wanted to touch on. You can upgrade your phone and it will still work. And it says 25 megabytes of free storage, though 100 megabytes plus is recommended.
Yeah.
And I am interested.
Yeah, this is
I'm
a
not
nice
gonna lie.
idea. This is a nice idea. Everything looks really nice about it, especially at that price, because it's cheap enough that people will buy it to try it.
Yes, and I don't know if I'll buy one myself, but this is, it's not similar. If anybody remembers Remix OS, it was the closely worked with the Android team, and they were making basically Android tablets with a modified skin, and they started launching it for PCs. And the thing I liked about it was that it was Android. Of course, everything would just work because its core is Android. To have this where it's harnessing, and they're not too bad. Like Remix OS devices were fairly cheap. They were about 50, 60 quid. And some people were saying they were a bit bad, and some were saying they were okay. It was use case. But to have something that is only, I think it's about an 11.6 inch screen, so it is not very big at all. You can easily throw this in a backpack or a man bag. Yes, 11.6 inch screen, a messenger bag, anything like that. And you could walk into your coffee shop, Starbucks, Costa, some small branded one, whack it out. And if they've not got Wi-Fi, it's not a problem because you've got your data there that you can use. And I would like to try, and it's even, this is something I didn't mention, but where your control, not your function key and your window keys, they have the buttons for Android. So the basic back, is it back and home? No, it's home and multitask, which was something else I kind of liked.
Yeah, although I think at this stage, more than anything, whilst this looks like a nice idea, because it does, and if it comes in at that price, the proof is going to be, though, in the pudding.
Yes.
You know, how well does this actually run? What level of spec does it need? How well is it actually going to run on that resolution screen?
Yes. They've got a timeline, and this previous back history. So they want, obviously the Kickstarter is launched in July. They want to start manufacturing September. They want to do some more product testing in November, and then January, add additional software, and finally in February, initial product run complete and shipped to backers. So you're not going to get this till early next year.
Yeah, and that's at best. That's what they're currently planning.
That's what they're planning.
Yeah,
it is demolished its goal. It only wanted.
Yeah, they only wanted 50,000, and they've got 25 days to go, and so far they're at $770,000 pledged.
Yes, they're just short of that. They're currently. I've just refreshed the page. They're at 7,600. 769,929. Oh, it's just gone up to 70,000. So they are.
I mean, it's still firing in. Yeah.
I mean, you can get, like I said, it's coming in at $99. You cannot. It's so cheap. You kind of just gonna buy it anyway. If you're that drawn to it at that price, you will just buy it. I'm not one of these people that does that.
That's still dependent on it actually
shipping,
coming out, and it actually coming at that price. Because at the moment, you're looking at it in the snaps that they've got, and you think, oh, that looks great. I particularly like they've got their little. If you scroll down far enough, they've got a little side mount.
Yes,
to
I did spot
attach your phone onto the side of the screen. Stuff like that looks great.
It's stupidly simple. But this is like obviously the Continuum laptop that was
the bit
made.
that troubles me all with this is the fact that the product shots, the photos that they have, make it look like this is basically ready to go.
Yes.
And the dates that they're giving, that's not.
It might be out before. We don't know. Again, it's another time will tell piece. But
but still, it's the photos, the mock-ups make it look like it's done and it's ready, but that timeline suggests it's not.
But so, it's certainly getting there.
Yeah, basically, this is a story that we can come back to in about a year's time to see if it's actually shipped, and if it has, great. Like one of the stretch goal, like a couple of the stretch goals at 500k was battery upgrade. So that's nice. Their million stretch goal is to get a 1080p screen, which is something I would be more interested in. If it did have. So
the first thing that sprung to mind when I saw this was this could really work well, and the device that sprung to mind was the OnePlus 3. I mean. Because that is 6 GB of RAM. This would, I don't see why it shouldn't, be perfect for the OnePlus 3. Not to mention the OnePlus 3's price.
Yeah, but don't forget, you say that, the fact that this is not coming out like anytime soon.
No, that is another.
It's going to be running the OnePlus 4.
Yes, which will probably have, I don't know, 8 gigs of RAM. Possibly 10.
Maybe. I don't know, 8. I would say 8.
Yeah, I'd say 8. 8 would be sensible.
Yeah.
But we'll leave that one there because I think we can go on and on about this. So, as the title is, Samsung fixes Galaxy S7 active problems. And we reported back on this last week before.
Yeah, something.
Some point. And basically, the S7 Active had been tested by
someone I can't remember.
I can't remember who, and I can't seem to find it. But basically, it was letting in water and killed the phone. CNET did a video on it. It had been all in the news. And the long and short answer was everyone was saying, do not buy it. Do not buy it. Just because you might as well buy the regular S7. Well, Samsung have claimed.
Yeah, just to chip in, when they're saying you might as well buy the regular one, that being because the regular one passed the dropping in water test.
Yes.
It survived. That was the big sticking point of the story, was the normal S7 you could stick in a glass of water and leave it for half an hour and it was fine. It was the active, the supposed rugged one, you couldn't.
You couldn't. And I will point out, this is once again, is in the case for the S6 active, an AT&T exclusive. But it is like with the S6 active, it's interesting and it always gets people talking again. So Samsung claims they fixed it.
Yeah, well, curiously, first of all, they've said, oh, we found out it was a manufacturing problem. So how long has this problem been ongoing and no one noticed?
Yes. They might have changed factories where they're being made. It could just be something ever so small. They've changed the supplier or something. But it shouldn't have happened. And the bit that was rubbing it in was the fact that the S7 and the S7 Edge did and passed. That was the bit that was like rubbing it in. So it's been fixed. They've not really said what the cause was. All we know is it is fixed. Another little quick one.
Although, just to chip in, it does seem apparently as though anyone that has an S7 active that sustains water damage, Samsung, it seems, is perfectly willing to replace those, which is something.
In fact, what they should be doing is replacing all of them.
Well, no, I don't think that's necessary.
I would personally, if it was me, I would like, if I own one, I would like to see it all replaced. Obviously, that's not probably a viable option, but if it gets done through water damage, this would be a no questions asked replacement unit sent to the user.
Yeah, which from the end of that article seems to indicate that if you've got an S7 active and it sustains water damage, that basically Samsung is going to replace it. They're not going to arse around. They're just going to replace it. Which I think, as long as that's what they do, it's fine, because I think any company can have issues with a product that's a manufacturing issue or whatever, and it's not been caught at the factory where it maybe should have, and it's gone out, and so maybe you have a defective item. It happens.
It is a natural process.
Yeah, if you're
it's almost as natural
millions,
as fire.
If you're producing millions of phones, some of them are going to be defective. It's just numbers. And as long as the company says, oh, yeah, our bad, yours is broke, here's a new one, then it's fine. I don't see any problem.
Yeah, so that's that one. I'm going to leave this last one to Mark, because if anyone, when Mark starts talking about it, you'll realise that it's BT again. And who in the MTT team likes to moan about BT and network providers?
Yay.
As much as he likes moaning about taking photos.
Oh, pretty much. But yeah, so this story, it's one that's kind of, it comes and goes every so often. Some MPs have been kind of standing up and moaning about BT, and the quote being that BT was significantly underinvesting in OpenReach. And essentially their position has been, well, basically everybody's position has been that because BT and OpenReach, although they're supposedly, Chinese walled,
Chinese walled my arse.
Exactly.
I was going to say something else, but I don't think that one was appropriate.
Yeah, the problem being that the OpenReach can effectively treat all of its customers like shit.
Because nobody can do anything.
Because, well, nobody has any choice about it. And of course, although normally if you had all customers being treated like shit, then they might go and do something about it themselves. However, when you have the behemoth that is BT Retail, quite happily being treated like utter shit by Openreach, nobody else essentially is willing to pony up the infrastructure and build out their own cabling, which means wires into people's houses, which is, expensive to do, because then instantly Openreach can come out, as they have done previously, and said, oh, you've decided that such a region is economically viable. Well, we've decided it is too. So we'll come in and we'll undercut you massively, so you can't make any profits whatsoever.
I was going to say, the only people that I've noticed, and tell me if I'm wrong, that aren't affected by this is the people that use Virgin Media.
People that use Virgin Cable service. Yes.
Yeah, they are the only ones that are exempt. And if you use
Virgin, they're the only people that don't use BT.
They use
hardware.
Virgin themselves.
Yes.
Which explains why there is very few and it's not few and far between. That explains why if you go for Virgin Cable, you have to, and it's not in your area, you have to say you're interested in it, and then Virgin will throw the information in the database, and they will only set to work putting cables down once it's registered enough interest, or to make plans to put it down, unless it's registered enough interest. I believe then they write to you and say, look, we're doing it, do you still want it?
Yeah, which, they don't do a lot of because it's expensive. I mean, the reason that Virgin Media is the way that it is because all the former cable companies in the UK all went bust.
Yes.
Because they all installed cables, they all ran up lots of debt, found they couldn't service it, and then eventually they all, one by one, kind of sent tits up and merged, and we now have them all as Virgin.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically, if you don't use Virgin Cable, the physical phone line that comes into your house is owned by Openreach.
And when you call your ISP, so Talk EE, which is who I'm switching to, they will always say, oh, we'll send a BT engineer out. And that's why they always send a BT engineer out.
Yeah, it's because Openreach own that physical line.
And the thing that people slate the most is that it's Openreach and it's owned by BT, which now actually, if I'm not mistaken, owns EE and has done for some time.
Yeah, sort of.
Or they're the parent company of.
Yes. BT now owns EE. Yeah, so essentially, they are a monopoly. The BT knows full well that it can, allow Openreach to treat its customers as badly as they want because they have no other alternative. Yep. They literally don't. And this allows Openreach to basically be shit to all its customers, and so the BT Retail BT as a whole can basically not invest and screw everybody. So this is some MPs now moaning about it. And to be honest, it seems that everybody, apart from the people that BT have bribed at Ofcom, all seem to think that BT is the devil in the UK telecoms market and needs to be broken up. But, BT obviously is quite masterful at writing large checks to people employed by Ofcom, so it hasn't been.
Yeah. So, BT back in the news once again. So, this is all I've got for the news. I don't have a topic. I couldn't think of one. I don't think. Can you think of one, Mark?
What news?
A topic for discussion. You got any ideas?
Oh, you mean apart from the Yahoo thing?
Yeah, apart from the Yahoo thing.
No, nothing else particularly springing to mind. But of course, there was the Yahoo thing, which it is sad, and it is what's more sad is that everybody is describing it as sad.
Yeah.
It's like poor Yahoo.
Yes. So to the upcoming posts, we have one or two. We don't have much at the minute, though I'm sure Mark will put us to rights at some point in the
Well,
week.
there should be an extra couple of things that I know are sitting in the queue.
I know I do. One thing I do know we've got doing is the Connor, our latest member, has had the iPhone SE for a while, and he was shooting an unboxing video today. He did a brief one on Instagram, but he was shooting one for YouTube, and I'm going to obviously edit it for him, because if anybody's tried to video edit on a Chromebook or looked up how to do it, yeah, good luck with that. So that will be coming at some point. He said he was going to upload the files for me tonight, so I've got to obviously edit that. That shouldn't take very long. I want this podcast I want to edit as well. Wish me luck on that. If it comes back and it's not so high quality, it's because I got so frustrated with Audacity I gave up.
Yes.
Because Craig is, of course, on holiday this week, so we don't really want to bug him. So I'm going to give it a shot. So you may get the high quality version. I was secretly hoping Mark would forget to open Audacity tonight and make my life just a little bit easier.
Yeah, no. Managed to remember it this week. Well, no, in fairness, it was you that reminded me.
Oh, did I say? Oh, yeah, I did. Didn't I? Said if you got his Audacity running.
Yeah.
So we've got the Bluedio Vinyl Plus headphones, which I know that's a Mark product.
Yes.
They are somewhere.
I think it's this box.
You think?
It's not that box.
So this is the thing. If anybody knows, Mark gets sent audio stuff, and he's constantly on a backlog.
These things.
Ooh, they look professional.
So those are quite nice.
They look very pleasing on the eye.
Yeah, they do. I kind of actually put that as a negative. They kind of have bling steel meat looks. So
Are they Bluetooth wired?
They are both.
Ah.
Yes, so can be used as either. And
so, yes, so if anyone knows, Mark always has a backlog of stuff. I'm quite fortunate, as in I don't have backlogs to clear up. I only ever have one review to do at a time, which, quite frankly, I kind of like it like that. I might have a review and a couple of editorials, but it's mainly one at a time for me. And Mark looks like he's a bit baffled on how to zip.
Oh, it's trying to, yeah, it's like in the dark.
So that's all we've got currently.
Well, no, that's not. We've also got Craig's Galaxy S7.
Oh, yes, that should be coming
on the 29th.
Yes.
We have these that, yeah, I have. They're on my desk somewhere.
Once again, Mark will complain that his
desk. These are also coming at some point.
Yeah, once again, Mark is going to complain that his desk has too much stuff on it and that he needs a new desk.
There is these at some point.
Is it?
There is the... Oh, I've actually got the things out of the box.
What were they? They looked like...
These.
Are they Super Luxes again?
They are. These are basically the closed versions.
Ah, see, the Super Lux Evos are what caught my eye. I've not ordered a pair. They've been on sale.
These are the 662 Evos.
They look nice.
So they look very similar to the other ones, except basically these are the same but closed.
So all the noise is kind of kept in your ear holes rather than it bleeding out.
Yeah, I've still got these things to do.
Oh, that looks like one of the coolest holders, cases, whatever you want to call it, I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit better than the cheap 1020p ones. Well, a couple of quid that I get off Amazon.
Yeah, and I've also got this stuff.
What is that supposed to be?
The case.
Oh, they look like
bunch of
monitors.
impedance adapters. Another case.
Basically, stuff that makes an audio guy shiver.
There's some earphones. I'm not exactly totally sure what those are. And there's the PMV 801 Mark IIs. Because we did the Mark 1s, I don't know, a couple of months back. And they're floating around here somewhere.
Like most things.
Yeah, but so that's the Mark II version. And as you can see by the packaging, I haven't actually kind of gotten around to opening those yet.
If anybody's looking at the video version of this podcast, you will see to Mark's, as you look at the screen, to Mark's right, you'll see a box full of parcels and cables, and then behind him, you'll see on his settee even more boxes.
Yeah. Yeah, which is why I never end up actually sitting on that damn thing. Which is why I kind of end up with just it becomes my like default just dumping place.
Yeah, and not that anyone can start, but we had was it earlier on in end of last week? Mark says I need a new desk,
yeah.
And my immediate comment back was, what good would a new desk be? You just cover it again in seconds.
Yes, kind of.
So that appears to be everything. Oh,
yeah, I don't know. There's probably other stuff still floating around that kind of hasn't been.
One thing I will point out is I believe that my Smart Ultra 7 review should be out before the next podcast. I've got a couple of pictures. If anyone's wondering why, if anyone watches live or watches it on YouTube back later on, if anyone wonders why we were so late, I went to a cafe just up the road that does a bike night on a that I didn't realise until the owner came to where I worked to fill his water drums up. And I went up, took a couple of pictures, got a little bit wet, not going to lie, just as I decided to leave. The heavens decided to bless us. So a couple of photos there, quick video test thing. So I've got some photos, got to get some video. Battery's done. Nice phone, but I wouldn't buy it personally. I would much prefer the Prime or First, the £75 option.
And which one's this one?
This one's the Smart Ultra 7, so it's the £135 variant. You did review the Smart Ultra 6 last year.
Yeah, to be honest, I kind of, with their names, they're all so...
Yeah, because they use Smart, and then they put a name in, and then they seem to use a number which represents the line.
Yeah, so everything last year's was the 6, everything this year's the 7.
Minus the tablets.
Yeah,
the
rest of the name is so much, it's the... Okay,
Vodafone phone.
It's like, why not, could you please just label them the cheap one, the medium-priced one, and the expensive one?
Well, that is a point I wrote about, is they do the Smart Platinum 7, which is £300.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to this. When I get my hands on it, I imagine I'll get it after this, because that's £300, but it's a carrier brand. Yeah, it's got to be good. It's got a 2K screen, so whilst screen displays and everything, it's got a 2K screen, and most Vodafone branded phones are 720p to 1080p.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of carrier branded phones tend to be the cheap stuff. Yes. This is
going above and beyond.
It's cheap for the spec.
Yes, but I've got a feeling, time will tell once I've played with it, I've got a feeling I may end up saying the OnePlus 3 might be more of a viable option. And the only reason I say this is, take out the, obviously, RAM, but the upgrades, so the software upgrades, let's say.
Well,
You just know a carrier branded phone is going to get shipped with a version of Android, and I highly doubt it's going to move from that version.
I kind of agree with you, and I think for the people that are watching this and ourselves, if you said £300 and you can get either the Vodafone Platinum, whatever, or the OnePlus 3, we're all going to go with the OnePlus 3. I don't think there's any doubt of that. And everyone listening to this, however, it's the people who are listening to it, it's their sisters or their parents.
Yeah.
Go, but I want a free phone.
Or I want a heavily subsidized phone.
Yeah, whereas you can go to Vodafone and you can get your Platinum, whatever,
7
reasonable, price contract, and you get your free phone.
It's not very expensive on contract. I think they were launching it with about 2 gigs of data, buttload of minutes, a buttload of text for about 30, 40 quid.
Yeah, and I think for lots of people, if you are one of these people that are insistent on getting your phone on contract and subsidized, then it starts to become a really, really appealing option, because you're not getting the OnePlus 3.
No, because you don't want to buy a phone outright. You want to buy something.
Exactly, but you're not going to be able to walk in a Carphone warehouse or a Vodafone shop or an O2 shop and get a OnePlus 3. That's not happening.
No way.
Whereas you can walk into a Vodafone shop and you can get the Platinum doohickey.
Yes, for the Platinum 7. I'm just trying to find in the email how much it's going to be on contract. £28 a month on contract, which includes unlimited minutes, unlimited text, and 1 gigabyte of data, and 500 megabytes of inclusive roaming allowance. This is what people
stingy, but
yeah, I think it's because they're being stingy because they're offering unlimited text, unlimited minutes.
Yeah, but they do that because they know that people will send maybe 5 minutes worth of calls in a month.
Well, you look at it, there's 24 hours in a day, and there's 30, it's going to renew every 30 days. So 24 times 30 is 720. Who the heck is going to use? It's damn right impossible to use more than 720 minutes. Why would you want unlimited minutes?
Well, they know that the people don't use minutes anymore. I mean, nobody uses smartphones to talk.
Yeah, this has always been the case with unlimited minutes. People offer it because they know nobody's going to use it. It's a trick of the mind. And Mark's phone's ringing.
Yep. And I can guess who it'll be, because guess who's the only people that phone on the landline?
Talk and BT and PPI.
Well, yeah, but I was actually thinking parents, but yeah.
Oh, right.
I said old people.
I was going to say PPI scams. They phone a landline.
Oh, yeah, possible. Yeah.
I was stood outside at the cafe.
No, I know what it'll be. It'll be about my nephew's computer.
So, we might as well wrap this up and let Mark go and see to what his parents so desire. So,
yeah. Well, I'm still logged into their computer in another tab. I've got TeamViewer running. For some reason, his computer, it won't bloody upgrade to Windows 10. It just hangs at 99% and won't do anything.
Oh, that's odd.
So, yeah, it's like, honestly, it's like, just bring me the fucking thing in front of me and I'll do it, right?
Yes, because push comes to shove, you just format the hard drive, reinstall Windows.
Yeah, and it's just trying to do things like over the phone, and you're like, oh, but push the button that says blah blah blah. Oh, I don't know where. Oh, hang on, what's this? Let me see. And it's like, no, just do the exact thing I told you. Like, don't think, just the thing that says whatever. Fucking press it.
Yeah. So the website is, of course, mobiletechtalk.co.uk. Twitter is @MTTFeed. Instagram is MobileTechTalk. Facebook is MobileTechTalk UK. We're not very yet. All our posts get put on Facebook. So if you are a Facebook whore, as I like to call them, and you constantly are glued to Facebook, it's probably a good way to make sure you know when all the posts are live. YouTube and Google Plus, just search for Mobile Tech Talk because we don't have fancy URLs. And finally, Patreon. You give us some money, we'll make some better shit for you. And that is it. That is the end. So once again, thank you to Mark for joining me rather delayed. I told him I'd be here at 7:30. 7:45, I finally walked in the front door. So we started, I think we started about 10 to 8, all in all. But I think Dom's coming back next week.
I think he should be, yes.
Yes, I think we're going to have the usual crew. We might even throw Kurt in if he's available. And if Craig's back off holiday and he's not busy and he's not somewhere in some random hotel in the country, we might bring him back at some point. Since it was Craig that started this and kind of had the whole podcast idea and then kind of did 3 episodes, and then suddenly, all of a sudden, became very busy. If people don't know, Craig does actually do all the editing for the podcast. And since he's on holiday and it's just me and Mark, I said I'd do it. So if you want if you've watched this and listened to it on YouTube. So
basically what he's saying is, if it's total shit,
blame me.
You know why.
But yeah, don't blame Craig, blame me. Worst comes to worst, we'll just have the Hangouts audio. We don't like to do that, but we sometimes are forced to, i.e. when Mark forgets to open Audacity.
When I forgot to use Audacity, because I have a slight habit of doing that. So, like,
you not have it on your home screen, as we talking about phones. You not have it on your desktop.
Yeah, but have you ever seen my desktop?
No.
Have you seen my desk?
I've seen snippets of your desk.
Yeah. Think that, but desktop.
So it's just a maze, really.
It's a horizontal filing system, is what it is.
Well, I'll put it this way: Mark has his toolbar up the top.
Yes.
Which confuses the living daylights out of me because every time I put it up there, I always start clicking in the corner and wonder why nothing happens. But no.
On the desktop, I've always had it at the top on big screens. On laptops, I tend to keep it at the bottom.
So that is it. We shall pop off. We will be back next week, of course. Who with? We never know. That's the mystery of the show. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
And I can't find the stop broadcast button. Where's my mouse gone? There it is.